Okay. So what we're going to do with this one, we started this last time. What we're going to do is because it is a sum notation. That means that I'm going to add all the pieces. This right here is, excuse me. This over here is an arithmetic sum. This is an arithmetic sum. So it's A1 to AN over 2 times D. Again, if you feel like it's better for you, guys, stop talking. If you feel like anything you need to do, you could always just count them out. Like you could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Find each piece and then add it all together. But I'm showing you how to do it in the quick way or the shortcut way. A to the 8. No, it's just an I. 8 times 3, which is 24 minus 1 is 23. So for this equation, what we're going to do.
How do you know 8 is 23?
8 is 23. 8 times 3 is 24. Minus 1 is 23. I just plug in 8 into here. So I want to find the sum at 8, which means it's going to be. Somebody actually got hurt in the hallway. Yes. That's what the shelter in place is. So anyone who needs to go. Somebody probably crashed into each other with a scooter, like literally. Drill? Shelter in place? Drill? You don't have to drill shelter in places, so. Whatever. Either way, you're supposed to stay out of the hallway so that they could actually go through it. All right, anyway, letter D. So the D is the pattern. What's up? S of 8. So the sum of 8. S of N. Sum at whatever number.
Wait, why do you have to make it 8 first? You're trying to find the 8.
I'm just showing you that I'm finding number 8. The 8th one. S of 8 is 23. A of 8 is 23. So at 8th position is 23. But if we want to add 1 through 8, yeah.
So you need to find the 8th one, or you're just doing it?
You have to, because this is part of AN over
But
here.
why did you do it first? Like, why didn't you just do 1, 2? Like.
I guess I could have done that. But let me do D. What's D? What is it raising by each time?
3 minus.
Just 3, because that's what it's getting multiplied by. So your D is 3. All right. So S of 8 equals 3 times A1, which we found was 2. You plug in a 1 there just in case.
Wait, A1 is not 2.
Plug in 1. Is it not 2?
Aren't you supposed to find like the 1, 2, 3? Isn't I 1?
This one is arithmetic, so you could do it this way. If you do it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then add them all together. You could do that way.
Doesn't I equals 1 mean that the first term is 1?
The first term is 1 that I'm going to plug into the equation. When I plug in 1 into the equation, what's the result?
2, and then you.
So my first term actually is 2.
But then you could do 2, and then you have like 5.
Yeah.
So why don't we do it?
You could do that. I'm just, this is the way to do it quicker.
Wait, why? That's 8.
What's up? It's not
I
25.
thought it said 8, 4. Wait, I'm erasing this. This is confusing me. I just like to do it the other way.
Okay. Wait a second.
Oh, you're just averaging it together and multiplying it by 3?
Yeah. That makes it. 12.5 times 3.
Adding the sum of them, adding the answer you get after plugging them all.
Coach,
Yeah.
I do want to plug the in. You tell me the problem.
Hold on.
Attention, Joseph Fisher, New Academy Way Commissioner, Yeshiva High School. This concludes this morning's shelter-in-place drill. A reminder, there was no
Oh, okay.
safety or security concerns. This was only a drill. There was no safety or security concern. This was only a drill. Again, Joseph Fisher, Hebrew Academy, Ray Fisher, Yeshiva High School. We have completed our shelter-in-place drill and we resume regular activities. Thank you.
That must-
No, it's not everything.
You got hit so.
So funny.
Ooh.
And what happened? I don't really.
All right.
I know.
We'll go to the next question.
Coach, isn't that E with an infinity sign on top and N?
That's
Attention, Joseph Fisher, Hebrew Academy Rate
That's 7.4, so
School.
we'll get to there eventually.
Shelter in place drill is complete.
Did you not say this already? All right,
Joseph Fisher, Hebrew Academy Rate
guys, everyone.
Shelter in place drill is complete. Thank you for participating in this morning's drill. You may resume regular activities. Thank you.
Okay, guys, this equation right here, I put a D. It's not actually D. Cross it out. No, it's N. So how many numbers you have? N.
I thought it was the average thing. So why are you crossing
It is
out?
the average thing, but you multiply by
I
how.
thought it was the rate.
No, it's not the rate. I made the mistake. It's the N,
Whoa.
which I had
Are you
earlier.
doing wrong?
That question we did was wrong.
Only that question though, right?
That question was wrong.
Number 19?
Number 19. So I'm going to do it again, but properly on a fresh page. Okay.
Hey, you couldn't remember the formula. How are we supposed to remember the?
I already corrected my mistake. We'll just work with correcting mistakes. Sometimes we make mistakes with people. Go ahead.
Now, let's say A1 plus AI, let's say the N was like step 8 or whatever,
Yeah,
that means that N is also 8.
the N would be 8. Yes. So I'm going to redo the problem just better.
No, on the packet, it's D, not N.
Yeah, I'm telling you, cross out the D. It's an N.
On all of them?
On the packet first page, I think I give you the formulas. Cross out the D. It's an N.
But in just this formula?
For a formula in this situation where it's going to be arithmetic sequence. So like here,
Write N and then cross it out, write D.
yes, cross out D and write N, you mean.
I'm not looking at 7, yo.
In underneath art, right? It says S and N.
No, but something was already crossed out.
Yeah, I made a mistake. I put N earlier, but then I put D, but then now actually was right the first time. That's why you gotta go with your gut. when you do things. What's up? Sure. No problem. All right, so let's do this question properly. In this equation, we just need A1, AN, and N. So in this case, I just need A1. It's still 19. I'm just redoing it. So I know, but I did it wrong, so I'm gonna do it correctly. And I'm doing it on a fresh piece of page to clear that out. So A1 is going to be, I'm gonna plug in a 1 into the equation. Plugging in a 1 in the equation, I result in a 2. A2, or not A2, A8, my bad. We're gonna plug it into the equation again. 8 times 3 is 24, minus 1 is 23. So what we have, and then what is N in this case? How many numbers are we counting? 8 numbers. Okay, so since we're counting 8 numbers, it's going to be S of 8 equals 8 numbers times 2 plus 23 over 2. 8 times 25 over 2. This ends up being 100 after you do the math.
So it's the same thing, just.
It was supposed to be N instead of D, okay? Which is my fault. Cross that out and fix that.
So did you say you want us to show?
This is work. You could also, if you want to, just find the first position, find the second position, find the third position. But I'll take time, so be careful doing that.
7.1.
And you can mess up in the calculator aspect.
Number 1, would I use the formula AN equals A1 plus E and minus
Number 7,
1 through 6?
1 through 6?
Yeah.
No, just tell me, find the first 6 terms. So you just plug in 1, plug in 2, plug in 3, plug in 4, plug in 5. All right, I'm going to 7.3 now, okay?
And then for 7 through 14, I would use that formula?
No, 7.3, that's ones that might not have a formula that's easy to make. So instead, I'd just rather you tell me what's the pattern. So like in words, like say, oh, it's growing by 2. You don't have to make a formula. Or, oh, these are all the square numbers. Or, oh, you're doing plus 5, then divided by 2. Then from there, work, okay? Tuesday for you guys. So we still have Monday to review too. 7.3. 7.3. Tell if it's geometric. Let's first look at the first set. Tell me if it's geometric. What makes something geometric?
But consistent, like multiplication.
Good. Guys in the back. Geometric sequences are sequences that are consistent in a multiplication or division. So what about this one? Is this geometric?
No,
No. What is it, man?
it's the.
It's actually arithmetic. So no, it's not geometric. It's actually arithmetic. Let's talk about number 3.
Two is
Two is
I'm so
geometric.
mad.
I know, but let's look at 3.
Divide by two.
Don't worry.
Divide
I'm
by
still
two,
with two
divide
lessons.
by two, divide by.
I recorded last lesson and I'm recording this review. So you at least have 2 videos that represents everything we learned. So you can use that as a jumping off point, okay?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we all, these are good things every day.
That's up yesterday. Yesterday we started reviewing.
And it's all, is it,
It's all in this packet,
every day is a different one of these formulas?
effectively.
Yeah, coach.
So this one, number 3,
Divide by two.
this one is geometric. And how's it geometric? It's good. It's divide by 2. We should technically say times by half, okay? If you say divide by 2, I'll still give you full credit, but no, it should be in times of a multiplication. So I would say times a half. Okay. Number 10. Number 10, find a geometric sequence. This is when we're going to actually make the formula. The formula is AN equals A1 times R to the power n minus 1. That's for geometrics. That's for geometric.
Where are we in the packet?
We're on 7.3, man. So number 10 here, A1 equals 1, A3 equals 9. So in this question, we need to find R. How are we going to find R is like this. We already have A1. So because we already have A1, I'm going to plug this in. A1 happens to be a 1, so 1.
Is that's the equation for what? For geometric or acrobatic, whatever.
Say that one more time.
That's the equation for whether it's addition and subtraction or for multiplication. division.
This is for multiplication division, which is geometric. So AN, which is A1 in this case, equals A1 times Rn minus 1.
Well, you have it,
But we actually know what A1 is, right?
and you know it,
And we know what A1 is,
and you know what N is.
and we know what Rn is. This is an ugly question though, because everything becomes 1.
No, but if you plug in the 3 1, it makes more sense.
Yeah.
Because then it'll equal R squared.
This is like, the problem with this question is so simple, it doesn't really show what we want to show.
Isn't that, you wrote A1 twice.
Yes, because I actually have A1, so I could just plug that in.
So why would you?
Just do 11.
Let's do, because A1 is my N, AN, and N is my 1. This is, it's too many ones. This is confusing. Let's do with 3 to show the example. Because A1 makes it too easy. Let's talk about this. A3 equals A1 times R. We know 3 minus 1, but we actually have the value for A3. What's the value for A3? 9 equals, we actually have the value for A1. What's that value of A1 in this case? 1 times R. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, 9 equals R squared. How do we get R squared by itself? Square root it. So this is going to be 3. 3 equals R.
Wait, so do we even use the first one or we just use the second one?
The first one, you could use the first one. The problem with the first one, it doesn't really show you anything. So ignore the first one. I'm going to show you with a
Trying to
different
find
one.
one answer?
You're just trying to find R. And the first one doesn't actually help you find R. It just shows you
You
everything.
just choose which one for any of the problems?
You should choose any one. Like I usually want to give you A1. Well, here's the answer to this equation, right? AN
3 is not the answer?
AN equals 1 times 3n minus 1.
Where's the 1? Oh, just you're using it for yours, picking 1?
No, because A1 is 1.
Oh, it tells you.
Yeah. But I try to
What if
use,
A1 was 3?
then you would put a 3 here.
I'm like, when you
Yeah,
do like,
go ahead.
when you do like the thing where you have 2 A1s
Yeah.
and then you put one over another, right?
So let's do 11. Let's say that one. Yeah.
Does that equal the R or does that equal A1?
That should equal A1. No, wait, that equals the first one you find actually is find R, which then you use to find A1. All right, A3 is 24. A5 is 96. So
6 minus 24, 5 minus 2.
No, this is not this is geometric. So you can't do the y1 minus y2. Instead, what you're going to do is first you're going to set up both equations.
Or when you like substitute.
So 24 equals A1 R 3 minus 1. Also, 96 equals A1 times R 5 minus 1.
Can't you just do the whole?
Don't you just say you only have to pick one of them?
This is that works because you already have A1. My problem here is I don't have A1
You're trying to find A1.
and I need to find R. So I need to find both. This one I had A1,
Why
so
can't you use one equation to find both?
you can't because you have two missing variables. So when you have two missing variables, you need two equations.
Wouldn't it be easier to just do the dividing one for that?
The dividing one,
Like 24 or like 96 minus 24 over like 5 minus 3?
that doesn't work because that works for arithmetic. This is geometric, so you need a different system for that.
I don't know.
The structures will say this is a geometric sequence. So please find the formula. Okay, so 24 equals A1, 3 minus 1. So I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. 24 equals A1 R to the second power. I want to get A1 by itself. So I'm going to divide both sides by R squared. So 24 over R squared equals A1. Now, why is that useful? I could take this and plug it into my other equation. This is a system of equations effectively, but we're doing substitution method. This is a system of equations. So over here, I'm going to plug it in. Let's go over here. 96 equals, this A1 becomes 24 over R squared times R5 minus 1, which is R4. Yeah, Dominic.
How did that R 3 minus 1 become R squared?
3 minus 1 is just 2. That's it. You just actually subtract it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you just actually subtract it. So then I'm going to take this R4 and R2. We got to remember our exponent rules. Exponent rule says we can subtract these when you have one on top, one on bottom. So this is the same thing as 96 equals 24 R squared. Then from there, we need to solve for R. What would I do? I would divide both sides by 24. And after I do that, what would I do? And afterwards, I would square root it. 96 divided by 24, I think it is 4. So R is 2.
Sorry, just like a reflex sticker, I didn't like think it was.
So R is 2. Okay, we just,
That's not.
you're right. You did not find A1 yet. All we found was 2 is R.
You just plug in.
Then you're going to take that number. Number 11. What formula we're using? The one that says AN equals A1 times R n minus 1. Those are the formulas you need to know, but the methods are pretty particular. So now you take your R and you plug it into either one. Doesn't matter which one you plug it in. I'll plug it into the top one because we have smaller numbers. So 24 equals A1. I still don't know what that is. So it's just A1 times 2, 3 minus 1.
24 equals A1 times
2. I just put in the R. That's all I did. 2 to the second power. What's 2 to the second power? 4. So 4 times A1. How do I solve for A1? Which is 6. So we found A1, which is 6. We found R, that is 2. Then we just put it together in one final piece. AN equals A1, which is 6,
We have to fully write it over.
2, n minus 1. What do you guys have?
We have class
Next
next Wednesday,
Wednesday? It's 1 through 6, I believe.
but we're not gonna learn it.
Does it have to?
Why
We
wouldn't
won't
we?
have you Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah, so why not? Then we save it for Monday. You just keep it in your brain a little bit.
No.
You just hold it on.
Wait, when's the test?
This test is Tuesday.
Can you give us like, we could do like,
Monday,
we could do like.
Fun math games.
Yeah, review, you say?
We do like a review of like old algebra. Algebra 1.
You could do that on your own time.
No, we do that.
Why?
Because like, we are not having you for a full week,
Okay,
the rest of the week. So like, if you don't want to start anything new, we just had tests, why don't we just like review old math?
But I do want to start something new.
But we forget it by the time it's class
Yeah.
around.
Like, you're gonna have to teach it again,
Yeah, you're gonna have to
regardless, so
review
it
it
doesn't
anyway.
matter if you teach it.
I'll think about it.
We could review like algebra 1. That our
We can
teacher
do
didn't,
fun math
our teacher didn't even
games.
teach us back in the day.
Yeah.
But you already taught it to you. That I already taught to you.
I hated that guy. Culture was a joke. Stop.
All right. Let me make sure this
What
is
number
it.
is this?
This is number, I'm sorry, this is number 16.
You need to hug, I was joking.
No, I'm okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Take a very good grade.
All right, S. So this one, you see this weird E sigma, we're gonna do, or whatever it is, I don't know, summation. But this one over here, this is from 1 to 5. So what am I adding up to? To 5 positions.
No. please,
So
no,
S
please.
of 5 should equal, I'm sorry, let's first write the equation in general.
Okay. No.
So the equation in general is,
7.2,
this is still 7.3, man.
but it has it on 7.2 as well. Find the sum of the arithmetic series.
But this is a geometric sequence, so it's different. S of n equals A1, 1 minus Rn over 1 minus R.
This is why I really don't think-
Can you stop? It's above.
So S of 5, A1, what is my A1 position? Let's look at this equation. What's my A1 position in this case? It's 3, because remember, the equation is A1 times R, n minus 1. So in this case, my A1 is 3. If you can't tell, what could you do if you don't know what your A1 is?
You just put in-
You just plug in 1 and you'll see the math, okay?
Something, it's really rare.
So
Plug
1
in one
minus
for what? Wait, you plug in one for I?
for I, and then you would figure out it is
You
3.
cannot give us, like, random numbers.
Right
I'll keep it n, but the worksheet uses I, so I'm gonna keep it consistent on the worksheet, but I'll put it n or x, okay?
Where the formula is there I don't see an I.
16 is the question, it has an I. Usually it's an n's, but the equation, they give it an I.
How do you know that 3 is A1?
So there's 2 ways. Either you could remember the formula looks like this and A1 is in that position, or you could just plug in 1 for n if you ever doubt yourself and you find that 2 to the 0 power is 1, 1 times 3 is 3. Best, safest move is always to just plug in 1.
Yeah.
So 1 minus,
I don't-
what's the R though in this case? 2. So R is 2 to the, since I'm going to 5, it's gonna be to the 5th power over 1 minus 2.
Who decided this one of the works? Like, I don't understand who sat there one day and was like.
They didn't decide if they found that it works.
How does it?
We're just
It's
finish
just a
it.
bunch of squiggles on. the
It does
board.
it? What do you mean it does it? It literally works. You can test it out by counting it with your fingers, you know, like
I don't know.
2 to the 5th power, 32, so negative 31 over negative 1,
Next up.
3 times 31, 96.
So what does that equal? That's just the answer?
This ends up being the answer, yeah, 96.
Yo, bend over.
I'm not doing it. Everything you're saying today.
Oh my God, wait, I want to pass those.
It's 93.
Get that away from me. All right, last one. 7.4.
No.
I'm waiting for the minutes from the stick.
All right, for this one, this is the infinite series one.
Rip on this suitcase.
It's gonna be so exciting.
Sam, you should expect an angry, like.
Where do we just go?
We're on 7.4. This is number 3.
Bird. Bird. Game bird.
Okay.
Oh, it's 7.2.
7.4. So you definitely know when this type of top problem, because it has a, no graphic. You can see on the top right, it says 3 to 8, okay?
Only 3 days.
Yeah. So you can see in this problem, it is just infinite. Now, infinite geometric sequences are the super easy one. It's literally S of n equals A1 over 1 minus R. Okay. Remember, A1 is the number in front, or you could think of it as when I plug in 1, what happens? And R is the number over here, which is the number that you're multiplying by each time. So I'm going to infinity. So S to infinity. Of course, I can't actually plug in infinity's equation. What's up?
1/2 is the rate.
Yes. So my first term, if you don't know what your first term is, you always can plug in 0 into this equation. 0 minus 1 is 1, and then
1 - 1/2 is 1.
0 minus 1?
0 minus, no, 1 minus 1 is 0. 1/2 to the 0 power is 1. So 1 times 5 is 5, remember. So 5 over 1 minus a half.
1 minus 1 is 0.
But you said if you don't know what the I is, you plug in 0.
No, you plug in 1, I'm sorry. I must have mistaken. Because 1 minus 1 will become 0, and then the 0 power will eliminate whatever's underneath the rate, which will find you A1. So 1 minus, oh wait, 1 minus a half is a half. So 5 divided by 1 over 2, you could also write it like this, 5 over 1 times 2 over 1.
Could we just leave you as 10? or-
Yes, just leave it as 10. 10 is the answer. Leo?
Coach, on numbers.
1 minus 1/2 is a half.
Yes, half, the other half is,
Half of half, get rid of half.
Why is it on front?
if you take away a half, you have a half left.
My brain also was just like.
What? A1 is 1?
Yeah, because it says it in the bottom.
No, A1, if I plugged in 1 into this equation,
No, what's the A, what's the I?
oh, I says I'm starting at 1.
Yes, that's A1, no?
Yeah.
So why is it 5?
I is just showing that.
No.
it's at step 1.
I
No,
equals
it's
1.
A1.
Yeah. So you plug in 1 into the equation. So you start at 1, right? So what are you starting at?
Oh,
Okay. Which is becomes 5 afterwards. Now let's look at something else. There's a question like. No, let's look at 6. Pay attention to this. 6.
You do 4 after.
Not sure. But let's look at 6. This is very important. So you have an infinity on top. I equals 0. We'll talk about 0 later, about what happens when I equals 0,
Yeah.
like after this question. But I want to point out this part of this question. I have a big problem. What's my problem?
You don't have an A.
It's going to be negative, bigger. So why does it become negative? I'll ask you that.
Because 0 minus 1 is -1.
Oh, that's not really a problem. What's the real problem?
Oh, wait.
Okay, the real problem is look at my rate here. What's my rate? Now there's a problem. For a rate to work in an infinite series, it has to be less than 1. So as soon as you see that this is infinity and this is bigger than 1, this is, I want to see what word to use, but this is no solution, or in this case, number 6,
Turning no on paper and moving on.
no, or no sum.
You just don't write anything.
No, you can't just leave it blank. You need to acknowledge that it doesn't work, okay?
But like on 10, you have I equals 0, but it's less than 1.
That's fine. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about that. So let's do like,
10 is the next one.
10 is the next one that has that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't have that in 3 through 8. It's not, that's not 3 through 3, so it's not on the test. You said 3 through 8, but it's not in 3 through 8. None of them.
Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, since I didn't include it, I guess I won't put it in there. Plus. Let's do 4 real quick.
It's just 1.
Or is it A1 is 1 or the?
The A1 is 1, yeah, because you don't see anything. But I never talked about a different starting point. We always started at 1. I gotta show you what to do on a different starting point. Nah,
Wait, if you don't start at 1, then just plug in I as whatever you start at, huh?
exactly. That's what I want to go over.
So why then?
I just want to make sure we say that officially so everyone knows. So like,
Wait, how would you get A1 then?
you plug in whatever number you started.
So it's not technically A1.
And technically, no, it should be a start, but that would be weird. So it should be a, not a n, because n usually represents your last. So it has to be like your starting point.
You start with.
Yeah, which one you start with? Which we usually say is A1.
Keep it as one.
Yeah, we call it A1 because you're starting at the first step,
We should do it.
even if it's not actually one. Okay, so S and N equals, what's it, A1 over 1 minus R. First check, is this less than 1 or between, I should say 0, 1, absolute value? Yeah, it's good. So then it's gonna be S of infinity, right? We're going to infinity, equals 1 over 5, definitely on the bottom. And then what's your A1? You don't see anything in front. And if you don't know, you could plug in 1 to check, but it is just 1. So 1 over 4 over 5, which means that's going to be a reciprocal 5 over 4.
Wait, so the A1 is 1?
The A1 is 1 in this case, yes. Again, if you're not sure what your A1 is, plug in 1. Okay. So everything, let me check my. For when you see affinity on top, it's S affinity. Okay. Let's look back at 7.2. Because I just talked about Ellie about this, but I don't think I gave an official statement. So you might have like number 22.
Wait, 7.2.
Yeah, 7.2. This is arithmetic. This is arithmetic. So we're going to use the arithmetic equations. Now this is 12, and look at my starting point. I equals 6 in this case. On 22, 7.2.
What formula do we use?
Since this is arithmetic, we're going to use the sum of the arithmetic formula. So the n, A1 plus AN over 2, the averaging.
A1 plus N.
A1 plus AN over 2, all that times n. This is one I made a mistake on, remember? Okay, and I'll just write the formula here for our sake. Sn equals n A1 plus AN. Now here's the weird thing though. What are we actually starting at? 6. So what is my first term actually going to be? So in this case, my A1 will actually be a 6, while my AN will actually be a 12.
Wait, your A1 will be 6?
Yes, why is it 6?
It's the first term.
Exactly, that's why.
And your AN will be 12?
It's 12 because it's still your last term. Now let's talk about,
What's different?
you're going to see. So S, we'll call it 12 in this case. Even though that's not 100% accurate, it's going to be 12. A1 is going to be my 6. How do I find my 6th term?
You do
A1.
You just plug it in. So -5 times 6 is -30 plus 17. That's going to be -13. So that's going to be a 6, which is -13. Plus, now we're going to plug in 12. So -5 times 12 is -60 plus 17 equals -43 plus -43 over 2. Now, here's the thing that will trip people up. My n is how many terms I use. How many terms did I use? 6 or 7?
Wait, let's say 17.
That's 12. That's 17.
7.
7.
Wait, why did we use 7? I'm so confused. Where'd you get 7 from?
So you start at 6, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You use 7 numbers.
Oh.
So you got to make sure you count carefully, okay? It's going to be 7 numbers. You could think of
Oh,
it
so
as
that goes in the end spot?
that goes in the end spot because
I
that's
thought
how many
17
pieces.
goes there.
No, not at all. No, it's just 7. Because there's 7 pieces.
Aren't you just trying to find that?
That's
they
so
all add together?
annoying.
Yeah.
This doesn't matter.
Again, yes, you could just write each one out and then add it together. Yes. So in this one would be 7 because there's 7 numbers I'm actually adding together. From there, there's just algebra, or not even algebra, it's just arithmetic. 7, -56 over 2. -56 over 2 is what? -28. And then 7 times -28 7 times 7 is 49, 49 times 2, 4. 196. No, that can't be right.
No, it could be right, 196.
Is it 196?
I don't know.
No, it can't be.
Why not?
196 is 14 squared. Oh, wait, that's true. Yeah.
No,
196.
It's not 59, it's 59.
It's negative 196.
It's 56.
You're not, yeah.
So it's 58.
No.
This is 28, right? Half of 56 is 28.
Yeah, I think it's.
It is 196.
Negative 3.
Negative 196, my fault. Negative 196.
Every single day.
Yeah. I'm doing my math right. It's 14 times 14, which is negative 1.
Right.
So if you have a different starting number, you have to work with it correctly, okay? So if you're starting number 6, you plug in 6 for the A to 1.
I just said that, yeah.
All right. Guys, again, you're being recorded. You know, you just put that on the table.